Okay, welcome back to Comic Book History, episode 66. And you're probably all thinking, wait, you just said 67. Well, this is basically a take two type of situation because I accidentally deleted this episode before I could upload it. So I'm basically redoing it. So, still the same temperature because it's basically this bit of expansion basically on basically what I originally discussed in the original episode 6 before I actually deleted it. What am I discussing? The Invaders made a first appearance in Avengers number 71, created by Roy Thomas. Yes, Roy Thomas. I think like Sal Bushman was the actual. Now, the inspiration of the Invaders came from the All-Winter Squad. Yes, which is comprised of Captain America, the Human Torch, this is the Jim Hammond Human Torch, the Submariner, and, of course, Bucky and the Wizard and Miss America. It's inspired by that, but this is an earlier version of it. They'll mostly put, this is just the big three of World War II, which is Captain America, Submariner, and the Human Torch, along with Bucky Barnes, the current Winter Soldier, where the scene first formed while saving the life of Winston Churchill when he was visiting Fairfax, Virginia. And they pretty much basically had a lot of adventures in World War II. Yep. And they basically, after their initial backdoor pilot in an issue of, Avengers, during a storyline where the Avengers time traveled back in time to 1941. Yep. Where they met the Invaders, which is basically, for them anyways, just Captain America, Human Torch, and the Submariner. That was the initial team they met, per se. Yes. Now, the two people who created the Golden Age character group that basically was a prototype for them, the All-Winter Squadron, that's created by Mark Goodman and Bill Finger. Yes. Now, right after basically the start of the very series itself, basically because, Roy Thomas said we get backdoor pilot, and so they got their own series. If you get a chance to read it, it's really good. Lasting surprising 41 issues, though it started off in the giant size Invaders number 1, which it's one of two times I could think of basically where a series started with a giant size number 1 and then a regular number 1. The only other series I've seen ever do this, where they start off with basically something that's not the actual number 1, was Martian Manhunter in the late 90s. Though I wasn't reading at the time, but it's the only book I could think of where they actually did. Now, here's the strange thing about the Invaders. They never had a definitive base, per se. It's basically a military base they went to, and that's what mainly operated out of. Yes. Now, pretty much with the group themselves, yeah. Now, the group themselves, aside from having the initial ongoing series, less than 41 issues, they also had a second giant size Invaders, along with What If number 4, and of course the second volume of the series, which was published in 1983. This series introduced us to Dr. Nemesis. Yeah, he made his debut in this series. You've been thinking, Dr. Nemesis? You mean the guy who was part of the X Club and later part of X-Force? Yes, he made his debut in this miniseries. Yeah, he's basically from their company that basically Marvel bought in the 90s. They put him in the comics series. Yep. Their enemies were, enough here, obviously, Agent Axis, Baron Blood, the vampire, one who happens to be the father of Spitfire. Yeah, the War Team Incarnation basically comprised of Bucky Barnes, Captain America, both Steve Rogers, Jeff Malice, and William Newson, Human Torch, Miss America, Namor, Spitfire, Toro, who was the psychic of Human Torch, Union Jack, the Vision, and the Wizard, who was previously part of the Liberty Legion. There was also Brain Drain, Iron Cross. Yeah, this guy literally is an actual... he was an actual Nazi. Lady Lotus. I'll discuss her in a bit. There's actually a character in the current book, in the New Invaders book, basically, that's connected to Master Man, who is simply a Nazi version of Captain America. Of course, Red Skull, Super Access, U-Man, Warrior Woman, which, appearance-wise, she looks like Wonder Woman, but it's basically a Nazi. And the Yellow Claw. Yeah, one of the most racist villains ever in history of comics. Yes. Spitfire herself did technically first appear in this mini-series. Well, this ongoing series, which became Spitfire in issue 12. Now, if you get a chance to check her out, she's actually a really good character. Now, pretty much with this series, at one point, basically, they had to have a crossover with Marvel Premiere. Why Marvel Premiere? Well, they debuted a couple... There's actually a couple other groups operating at the same time, where there's also the V Battalion. Yes, V Battalion. They basically were Nazi hunters. And there's also the Liberty Legion. Yes, the Liberty Legion. Yes. Talk about this group briefly too. Yeah, mostly put this group, the original version of the group, they mostly just appeared in like 2 issues of Marvel Premiere, and the rest of the time they pretty much were recurring characters in the pages of Invaders Volume 1. And their members were the Blue Diamond, Bucky. This Bucky is not James McCann Barnes, but actually a character named Fred Davis. You're probably thinking, who the heck is Fred Davis? This guy was a bat boy for the New York Yankees in the 40s. Yes. If you're curious though what a bat boy does, they're the people who pick up those bats basically after all the batters, because all the batters, when they hit their big home run strikes, they toss to the ground. Their job to do is pick up bats for the bat. And they basically give them their bats when they go out there. Yep. Yeah, there's also Jack Frost, Miss America, the Patriot. This is Jeffrey Mouse. Great character this guy is. Red Raven, the Thin Man, and of course the Wizard. Yeah, this basically group was now mostly put, with the exception of maybe Jeffrey Malice and Bucky. A lot of these characters, you're probably like, who the heck are these characters? Like Blue Diamond, Jack Frost, you mean the guy who caused all the snowstorms? He's a superhero. This is basically... Red Raven himself did actually appear recently. As a matter of fact, he appeared about 6 years ago. About 7 years ago in a 3-parter, which was a 3-special thing of All New Captain America, Amazing Spider-Man, and the All New Inhumans, which has Spider-Man teamed up with the Inhumans. Though apparently the writer completely forgot the fact that Spider-Man has met Medusa before. Yeah. Though Red Raven himself made his first appearance in Red Raven number 1, which the following issue became Human Torch Comics number 2. Yeah, that was the strange thing basically for the 40s. Now, the 41 issue run is really good, though it does continue in What If number 2. And of course, basically, there's a few other things basically discussed here. There is Captain America Forever Allies, an excellent series, which basically teaches more stuff in World War II after Steve Rogers disappeared. Yes, it's later retconned because of basically Steve Rogers showed up in the 60s that he disappeared for 20 years. It was later explained that the person who was Captain America, there were 3 actual Captain Americas time period at the time. First of which was the Spirit of 76. He was Captain America for a full year, from 1944 to 1945. He became Captain America just after the events of D-Day. And then after he retired in 1945, actually he didn't retire, he was killed in action, and his cape was there given to Sun Girl, who became the partner of the next Captain America, Jeffrey Malice. And they detail his time as Captain America in the Captain America Patriot miniseries. I highly recommend checking this out. It is really, really good. The Patriot himself was Captain America from 1945 to 1951, which made him the Captain America person was Captain America for the All-Winter Squadron. Then by the mid-50s, basically, because he was back in communism and all the Nazis, they had William Burnside, a.k.a. the insane Captain America, or known as the Grand Dictator. This guy was Captain America for the 1950s. He later returned, actually, in the 1970s. With, of course, technically the third Bucky, Jack Monroe, who was actually Nomad. Yep, Nomad. In the case of Fred Davis himself, aside from appearing in some World War II stories, the guy didn't appear again until the Winter Soldier ongoing series, where he was killed off toward the end of Ed Brubaker's run as basically a ploy by the Red Room. Yep. And of course, the 1993 series basically was just really good stuff here. Now, one of the issues had the U-Man himself be under the control of Lady Lotus. So, yeah. And as payback for that, he didn't like the fact that he was brainwashed. So what did he do? He raped Lady Lotus. Creating the character of, I think her name is 10, I think her name is. Yeah, creating the character of Tara. Yes. Now, now there was also technically another adventure in World War II to explain the Invaders Now miniseries. I'll discuss that a bit. After the Invaders miniseries basically was concluded in 1983, they relay a feature in the Marvel Universe series for the storyline was Eve of Destruction, which I haven't read yet because I don't really know what happened in that miniseries. And then, of course, in 2004, Chuck Austin decided to create a modern version of the group, led by John Walker, aka U.S. Agent, who tried to call himself Captain America, even though that they all knew he wasn't Captain America. Carried out paper shield for some strange reason. And comprised of Tara, the Blazing Skull. Let's see here. Who are the members? There was also Thin Man, Union Jack. And of course, Human Torch. And of course, well, Namor. Basically have modern connection. They later got their own spin-off ongoing series that got quickly canceled due to low sales. Yeah, it got canceled. Sorry, it had an issue 0 to start off with, but it was canceled with issue 9. Why was the series canceled? Well, in book, they basically had it where they were basically assembled by a guy named Del Resk, who turned out to be the Red Skull in disguise. So, yeah, Red Skull formed a version of the Invaders just for his own personal benefit. And the group disbanded, well, not because of that, because the original Human Torch died. Yep. And the group himself didn't do anything with them again until 2012, until about 2007, where you had the awesomeness that was the Avengers/Invaders 12-issue maxi series. We had the Invaders come into modern day and basically end up on a SHIELD helicarrier and having Bucky interact with his past self. It is by far an excellent series. Check out. Next time, basically, was Invaders Now, which was a 5-issue miniseries published in 2010. This series basically brought about the original incarnation of the group, adding the character of the alien version of the Vision. No, not the android Vision, and not the one created Young Avengers, the alien who first appeared in the 1940s. Yeah, they retconned him part of this group, and mostly this book just dealt with, like, them revisiting a village that they visited back in the 40s that dealt with a plague that they basically battled. And before they went to the village itself, they did something quite unique, because at the time this miniseries came out, Steve Rogers was not Captain America at this point in time. It was Bucky Barnes, who was, well, previously Winter Soldier. He became Captain America. So, in order to get in the good side of the locals, they had Steve Rogers briefly become Captain America for this one day and have Winter Soldier become Bucky. Though I should also point out, though, when Bucky usually was a Winter Soldier, he was wearing his Bucky Barnes attire. Yeah, he never changes. The only thing that changed about was his arm. Yeah, I'm sure they probably had like a sleeve for him to put on to cover up the fact he has a robotic arm. Yeah, it's a very interesting miniseries. At the end of this, the last page, if you want more Invaders, write Marvel. Well, you wouldn't get it for another 4 years until this series showed up. Yep. The all-new Invaders series by James Robinson, which pretty much basically came together because of, well, because after the events of Secret Avengers, you had it where the Human Torch, who did something he didn't like doing, because in case you're curious though, Human Torch came back prior to this in, I believe it was the Avengers/Invaders mini limited series, which later gave the Human Torch his own mini series. Really good, highly recommend checking it out. It's called The Torch, and gave him his own arch nemesis, the Inhuman Torch. Yeah, it's a great follow-up to basically that classic story. Yeah, there's a lot of really good classic stories set in the 40s that were published from during the period that I read comics, like that one. There is, of course, the Avengers/Avengers limited series. There's Captain America for Allies, Captain America Patriot. Let's see, was there any? Oh yeah, there was also our Project, which is really good. I highly recommend checking that one out. So, if you're curious though exactly what happened in this series, you just have to read it for yourself. It's a very interesting series per se to read. And after the initial first story arc, which had the reunion of the original video to take on Alien, I just noticed though, the back cover for the first 2 volumes has got the same damn picture. Yeah, for some reason, even though this is volume 1 and 2, look at this. Different front covers, Same exact back cover. I did just notice that just now. Yep. Now, who did they come together to fight? Well, they fought this beautiful woman right here. Though Empire later retconned her to be not the actual woman, but a scroll in disguise. Namely, Hulkling's grandmother, posing as this woman. Yep. I'm not really sure why the retcon had to happen, because, well, James Gunn jumped to DC, I have no idea. Yep. They later disbanded, and they came back after Human Torch had an encounter with a woman named Radiance, who was the granddaughter of the Golden Bin, a member of the Young Allies. Yeah, there was no group that operated in the 40s at Marvel Comics. They actually had a brief ongoing series that lasted 20 issues, and they briefly revived the group as an ongoing series. I'll talk more about them in another video. But yeah, this series, I do recommend checking it out because it's just so damn good. Yep. Though, after the series ended in 2015, surprisingly, and then with the group apparently disbanding the final issue because, well, Steve turned old, Human Torch basically just did his own thing, and, well, so did Namor. Well, Marvel never did anything with the Invaders for about 4 years, until the awesomeness that was the Invaders ongoing series that was published from 2019 to 2020. I will discuss this later date. It is written by Chip Zdarsky and had the Invaders reunite to take on deranged Namor. And that's the Invaders for you. An absolute fantastic group of characters. Now, if you think of how many series are, these are the series I recommend checking out. The original 41 issue ongoing series, along with of course, you gotta read the two giant size books. Basically, there's even a lot of collected editions of the Invaders. There is the Invaders, the complete collection, published in 2014. In case you're curious, though, 24 is a reprint of an old Marvel Mystery issue. Yeah, Marvel Mystery Tales. Yep, the complete collection, which collects the entire 40 issue run, the two giant Invaders, the annual, Avengers 71, which is back to part of this series, Marvel Premiere 929 and 30, the 4-issue second volume, and what is number 4, which is the only canon issue. There is also Once the Invader, which is back to power to the New Invaders series, which is also a trade for that. Avengers/Invaders, well, trade for that, Eve of Destruction, Invaders Now, the All Invaders series, Invaders. There's also the other series, Moral Project, The Torch, Captain America Forever Allies, Captain America Patriot. I'm recommending a lot of really good series. And the thing with these series are they're all written by really good writers. Well, I know that Chuck Austin is not everybody's cup of tea when it comes to a writer, mainly because of the fact the guy used to write porn. Yeah, and he wrote The Invaders. If you're curious, though, if in fact his writing is actually really good at it, it's actually pretty good. I do recommend checking it out. It's actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, in case you're curious, who wrote Invaders Now and Avengers/Invaders? This series was written by... Let's see if I can look them up on here. Yeah, this is done by Jim McGregor and Alex Ross. Yeah, they're the ones who write this, which is good combination here. Invaders Now is done by... Well, the cover is done by Alex Ross, obviously, who also co-writes the series with Christos Gage. Yep, Christos Gage, which that is actually quite cool. Yep. I mean, who better to write this book? He's just so freaking good. Yeah. There's never been technically a bad Invaders book. Not really, no. And the best way to describe the Invaders is that they're Marvel's version of the JSA. Except that this group was first appearing publication-wise in the 1970s. Though Roy Thomas used the concept of basically taking characters who had no interaction with each other. Prior to that, in the 80s, when he jumped to DC to write the All-Star Squadron series, which had basically he used similar concept to the Liberty Legion. Yep. But yeah, not much else to say about the Invaders. Great group. Highly recommend checking out. They're kind of also in a way the Invaders also the Invaders precursors to the existence because if you just Captain America. Yep. Oh, in case you're curious about all the Winter Squadrons, they existed for like 2 issues, and I don't think they were featured in your comic book after that. There was a mini-series called All Winter Squadrons that focused on a couple minor Golden Age superheroes that got quickly canceled after 5 issues of an 8-issue limited series due to low sales. And it's actually the only limited series Marvel has published that has never been published in trade. I'm not kidding about that. I'm like, really? Yeah, as far as I know, there's been no reason why. The fact that they never actually, publish this in trade. Yeah, as far as I can tell, there's no real reason for this at all. Let's see if I can find here. Yeah, there was a band of... Yeah, it's a series by Paul Jenkins with Carmen Denigo. Yes. A group called The Crazy Sues, which is another good World War II-esque series. Yeah, they got canceled at issue 5 due to low sales. Yep, as a matter of fact, there was plans for issue number 6, but nope. Yeah, and this was published back in 2011. Yeah, a series that was published 10 years ago. Yep, and look at the covers for the final few issues. Like, damn, these covers are really good. Yep. Like, 7 would kind of encounter freaking Loki. That would have been interesting. Yeah. But there's nothing that you can't do it, though. I kind of get why people weren't buying it. Mainly because it featured a bunch of characters that not everybody was familiar with. Yeah, that's the problem with the series. Was that it wasn't the Invaders, per se. Yep. That's the only problem with all Winter Squadrons. This particular mini-series called All Winter Squad Band of Heroes. A great series. I've read it. It's actually really damn good. Though I kind of wish they would have published this in trade along with putting in the final 3 issues that were not actually published. That would have been nice, but knowing Marvel, I probably wouldn't do it. Okay, so that's it for this particular review. Next video, 68. Talk about Force Works. Okay, see this video. Bye.